right, so hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Really appreciate you for stopping by and checking out this video. I also really appreciate all of you who are in the chat for being here and supporting the streams. If you're watching this video on YouTube, I appreciate you as well, but I would really appreciate a follow on the Twitch. The link is in the description. So today we're going to be listening to Samble. Samble has dropped an EP recently, I think in February of this year, actually, so relatively recently. And the EP is called Healing is Coming. It's on SoundCloud where we're listening to it, but he made it a point to reach out to me because he is dropping it on Spotify and all streaming services really soon. I think he's just working on some sample clearance issues and things like that. But yeah, so it was released in February, but it's basically re-releasing on all streaming services really soon. Samble, you can let me know in the chat, you know, more or less a timeline of when, you know, everybody can expect that. So that's how we're going to be covering this EP today. It is 7 tracks long, 20 minutes. So be sure to you know, check out the link in the description and listen to it on SoundCloud. And when it drops on streaming services, add it to your library if you enjoy what you hear from the clips in this video. And be sure to support Samble. With that said, I'm relatively familiar with Samble. He has sent in a couple tracks before in some of the streams. You know, I'm pretty excited to listen to this. I'm always hyped for new music, especially from up-and-coming artists. I love putting you guys on to new people. So yeah, the more you support the channel, the more support these up-and-comers also get. So I really appreciate it if you would like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy the video. The first track is Dystopian Waltz.
Through dystopia, dancing through dystopia, nowhere to go. So
oh, I remember this one. Okay.
Vibe. It's just a vibe. My oh my oh my.
I think this one sounds familiar to me. I feel like I've heard this one already. I want to say maybe the reverb is a little heavy on your vocals, so that, and the delay as well, so that when the delay actually plays after you say something, you've already started saying something else, and that previous delay is kind of like clashing with your main vocal just a little bit.
Dancing through dystopia.
Okay, getting some pitched pianos here. This sounds cool.
Remain out of sight. I don't know where I belong. Yeah, I don't know where I belong.
Nice. Dustin, I believe you have shared that, yes.
I don't know where I belong.
This second half is much stronger than the first half, I think.
I don't know where I belong.
Track 1. Yeah, the intro, I feel what you were doing there. I think maybe the lead in, I think it was like 35, 40 seconds of just the pianos. I would have shortened that just a little bit. I would have gone a little lighter on the reverb and delay on your vocals for the first half. The second half, I think, sounds really cool. A little more on the experimental side. I also like the switch up where you have the keys, you know, pitching down and then leading into that just really sudden, dark, you know, distorted bass. I think that's a really cool transition. And the synth outro is clean as well. So second half of this song, very strong. The first half, just a few little minor issues, but it also doesn't carry on for too long. So it's not like it's, you know, it's weighs super heavily on my mind as I listen to it. Not a bad intro at all. Second track, there's a mixing issue, but it should be fixed by the time it drops on Spotify. Vocals run a little quiet on track 2. Okay, Samble. Well, I'll try not to mention it then, since you're aware of it already. We'll try and focus on other things to say about it. So, Silence from Above, track 2.
Grandma's gone critical. Nothing more that we can do.
I think the background vocals might be a little too loud too. The 808 is playing the third of the root note, and that's the only note that it's playing. I would have played, if you're only going to stick to one note, I would have just played the root note. But I would advise against only playing one note because I think that 808, you know, the bass line is a little boring and doesn't fit very well with the rest of the stuff going on. I really like the background vocals, although they're a little too loud. And I'm not mad at the drum sounds either. Yeah, I would have definitely made a little bit more of an interesting bass line here.
Hard to believe this is all part of God's plan.
I like the effects on your vocals though.
What I would do to just be with you again.
It reminds me of 808s and Heartbreak, Kanye. You know, off of Streetlights, I think. I think it's not. I think there's potential here. Like I said, if the bass line were just a bit more interesting, and the vocal, you know, mix issues that you pointed out were polished up a little bit, this would be very, very interesting. This is track 3, Devil Has Me, featuring Uriah. Is that how you say it? Oh, this is clean. Oh my God, this is clean. Nice drum switch up here. Sample, I think this is awesome, man.
She said, locating love up in the bands. These ain't your friends, these ain't your friends, these ain't your friends. Your friends, these ain't your friends. Doing all this shit.
I would have gone for a similar vocal mix to Uriah's vocals. You know, she's still got some reverb and delay on her vocals, but it's very slight. It's a very nice EQ on her vocals. She's sitting above this beat because she's singing in a higher octave. I would have played around with that if I were performing your verse, Sample. Maybe played around a little bit more with the higher, you know, registers of my voice, because right now it feels like your vocal is a background vocal, right? Because it's kind of sitting in this space in the mix where it's not really taking center stage due to the register that you decided to sing in, the octave that you decided to sing in, the melodies that you chose to sing themselves. So I would have played around a little bit more with my vocals, maybe come in with just a slightly more you know, upbeat, kind of like higher pitched performance on this one with you know, a little bit of a cleaner processing on the vocals. Maybe would have made the verse a little more interesting to listen to. The chorus sounds really good. I'm loving the instrumentals here, dude. Everything sounds so clean. Yo, she's killing it, bro. The next track is Only One. She's your coworker's sister. Dude, she killed that. She really did.
Your mama text me, say we might get back together. Got me fucked up, got me fucked up, got me fucked up. Don't get you out of my head.
I love this vibe. Running your vocals through the amp is a nice touch. This is not a bad track though. A little heavy on the delay and reverb again, but definitely pleasant. Dear Future, key's really good, yeah. I love the distortion on his vocals. Sounds nice and full.
I don't know my destiny without you next to me.
That note is off key. Then when you say next, that's off key. Yeah, the auto-tune needs to be cleaned up a little bit.
Tell me what the future brings. What does he have in store for me?
Distorting these nuts.
Someday.
Oh man.
Tell me what the future brings. Tell me what the future accepting no colors and no latest spinny rays.
That's fire. Enemies.
You wanna be free, but that don't gotta mean.
For that last track, I would just say to make sure that the auto-tune is cleaned up. There's a couple of notes that are off key, and there are some notes that kind of wobble a little bit.
Don't gotta mean we'll be enemies. Cause I'm raised. Yeah. Step into the light, let me see your face.
I like these guitars a lot. The drum sounds are a little basic. Loving the background vocals. Yeah, this one has got a really pleasant ambient feeling to it. I feel like the drum sounds are a little basic or maybe just a little dry, but beyond that, I like everything else about it. The guitars are really nice. The background vocals are really cool. And you said you improvised that last one, right? So, you know, for an improv track, that's really not bad. Track 7 is a new frontier.
Problems of peace and war, unconquered province of ignorance.
I like the processing in your vocals for this one. Guitars sound clean. Drum bounce is pretty cool. Alone at Prom by Tory Lanez. I haven't listened to a Tory Lanez project since before Chicks Tape 5. I think the latest New Toronto is the last album I heard from Tory Lanez. All right, and that was the outro to the EP. So listen, man, I would say a lot of these tracks need, I would suggest that you would polish up your vocals a little bit. Go a little bit easier on the reverb and on the delay because they muddy up your main vocals. I would be a little bit more confident in my performance. A lot of your performances come off a little soft. I don't know if that was intentional, but not soft in a relaxing, soothing kind of way. Soft and almost like an unsure of yourself kind of way. So I would suggest just feeling a little bit more confident in front of the mic, making sure that the auto-tune is clean. You know, a lot of times you can just set it to the correct key and it'll sound fine. But even when you're singing in a certain key, depending on the melody that you're going to be singing, there are notes in that key that you're not even going to use. And so you can always turn those off in the auto-tune just to make sure that it doesn't slide your singing to those notes that you don't want to hit, even though they would be in the right key. Just to make sure that it's really clean. You can always go back in afterwards with a VST like Melodyne and manually place every note that you really want to hit, just to make sure that it sounds as polished as possible. You really want a nice EQ on there and not to go so heavy on the delay and the reverb like I mentioned. I would experiment a little bit more with your vocal. A lot of your performances are on the lower energy, lower register kind of almost mumbling, really deep voice kind of sound. And I would love to hear you experiment a little bit more like you did on that last track with your falsetto, to just kind of like push your voice just a little bit, you know, project your voice a little bit more and sing using your chest voice and hit a couple of those higher notes. Confidently and cleanly, and I think that you could make something that sounds really, really cool, especially over beats like that one that you made with Uriah, where she sounds absolutely perfect on that track, and your performance kind of comes across a little bit, you know, weaker in comparison. I really don't have too many issues with the production choice or the features or the sample selection or background vocals or anything like that. I guess my main critique would just to make sure that you get the cleanest performance possible and that you polish up your vocals as best as possible whenever you're doing these tracks. Those would be my suggestions. That said, it is a 20-minute long EP with 7 tracks on there that I still feel it's worth a listen. You know, I always appreciate when someone has a unique sound and someone is trying to do something different and new. And although, you know, maybe you're not as polished as you can be just yet, I'm sure that you'll get there. You know what I mean? So it's always nice to see these things in their early stages. And I mean, a little selfishly, to feel like maybe I have a part in helping you to improve. It's just always really, really nice. So thank you so much for sending this in. Thank you so much for trusting me to listen to your project and to give you my opinions on it. I don't take that lightly, the fact that you guys, you know, want my thoughts on your music. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you're watching this video, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support. Everybody stay safe. I will see you guys later. And as always, peace out.